I don't think we did anything there. Hopefully it'll be fun. We've been trying to make it fun.
At the end, I think.
Yeah.
Anyway, lovely to see you.
Thank you.
Success, everybody.
Great to see you.
So this girl's apparently a really good point guard.
Hey, I hear tell we're getting another basketball player that can handle the ball.
Good. Oh my God.
There you go.
She
They'll
will
just
hear.
throw it back and forth. They'll be all set.
Oh my God. She will be so happy about
Oh
that.
yeah. So now they got. So that's what when I was in high school, we went 27-2 my senior year, and we lost only 2 games. We lost one. We went to the tournament. Idaho Player of the Year was 6'7", 217. But in the CIF Southern Section Finals, we lost in the finals because they had Leon Wood, who eventually played for the Washington Wizards.
I remember Leon Wood.
Yeah, and then one other guy, because you could throw the ball to him, then he could get open, get the ball back and score. And he scored 49 points against us. We lost by 7. So that's huge for us.
That is huge.
Huge for us.
So who is that? Which new kid?
Faith Hill, I think it is.
Oh, okay.
Or one of the gals from Catalina's transferred.
Oh yeah, Quincy actually said she already talked to Faith.
Oh, she already reached out to her.
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because
So that's good.
when we played him in field hockey last year, Michael told me there were a couple of gals that came off the pitch. And the first thing they said was, "We want to play for them."
Yeah.
They were so impressed with our girls and how they behaved, how they played. They said
Great.
they were just like they said, "We want to be on that team."
Oh my God, where's your
Park right
hair?
there. Park right there.
It's kind of going.
Oh my gosh.
Do you want to thing before I come up?
I just want to double check that everybody.
So, and you know, it's important. All the generations just staring at me in the front row, going, "Okay, go!" And if I did it right, you report to the wife of the factory. They were just so thrilled. I felt like they were fun.
Yeah.
Where were you at? On the big island.
I hope that people can see at this point. Thanks. It's really helpful. and yes, I hope you can listen. Does everyone have a program? Sean, there are others over here. Okay.
You want to do that?
I'm gonna start. So just as a reminder to the graduates, you'll come up this way, get your diploma, go off the back, sign the surfboard, and pick up your yearbook. And for those of you who have, wow, that's going to be really difficult. There's like a delay, huh? Yeah. For those of you who purchased a yearbook ad, we have your yearbook for you as well to pick up at the end of the ceremony. If you want to just stop by this table as you drive out, we'll make sure that you get that.
Welcome to York School's class of 2020 commencement. Our first drive-in commencement. I feel a little bit like I'm in the Disney movie Cars right now. Despite the unusual format, we are thrilled to have us all together in one place to commemorate this important milestone. Of course, an event such as this, especially a drive-in commencement, doesn't occur without the hard work and commitment of others. I want to thank the facilities crew and Matt Bauman for help with setup and their commitment to keep the campus operating smoothly. I want to thank Kevin Brickhauser, who is responsible for our sound, the live stream, and the FM signal broadcasting to your cars. Andrea Sinico and Felicia Flegger for the production of the program, and Felicia for helping provide the general vision for today's ceremony. Sean Raymond for serving as diploma hander. Grace Q for filming the event. And of course, Joyce Sherry for overall planning, coordination, and communication. Since April, she has planned 3 different graduation ceremonies, and this is the one that is live. I also want to recognize all the aunts and uncles, grandparents, siblings, family friends, and especially the parents of seniors. Without your unheralded and unconditional support of your student, they would not be here to be honored. On behalf of the school, I want to thank you for your trust in us to educate your child through the inevitable ups and downs of adolescence. Your support is vital to our success. Thank you. Finally, I want to recognize our fabulous faculty and staff. They are responsible for guiding, encouraging, and supporting seniors as they navigated their teen years and made it to graduation. So instead of a standing ovation, which just won't have the impact inside your car or even be possible, please, on my command, honk your horns for 10 seconds to acknowledge our faculty and staff. Ready? Honk. That actually worked. Now we're just being sarcastic. Seniors, I address my opening remarks directly to you, and I hope they are relevant and helpful as you move into the next stage of your life. This is a historic moment, although it is not the moment we all hoped for. It is historic nonetheless. You will receive your high school diploma in the midst of a national pandemic on August 6th, not May 22nd as planned. You are listening to me from your car, not seated next to the stage. After we announce your name and hand you your diploma, I will not be able to give you a high five, traditional handshake, pat on the back, or congratulatory hug as I was planning, nor will your teachers and others who watched you grow up during your time at York School. Mentioning this is not meant to elicit negative emotions. Instead, it is a segue to an important and positive lesson. Life can be unexpected. In fact, it can be stunningly unexpected. You and your fellow classmates, as well as high school seniors from the class of 2020 across the country, understand better than any senior class before how unpredictable events can alter your plans and significantly modify your expectations. You have learned this firsthand. I have advised seniors over the years that life's path is not linear. It is not a straight line to success and happiness. Most seniors listen politely, but I suspect they didn't grasp this truism because it is a lesson that must be learned through experience. And unlike you, they did not confront a worldwide, fast-spreading, highly contagious disease that has transformed our daily lives. When you're young, you often daydream about your future. And then you usually create an internal timeline that has checkpoints that you imagine you will mark as completed during your journey. Graduate high school, check. Attend college, check. Graduate college, check. Start a fabulous career, check. And so on. The common assumption is that for the successful and accomplished, life's trajectory is a direct, unswerving, ever upward smooth line like a graph representing the rising stock market price of a flourishing company. However, for the vast majority of people, this is not true. Your life's journey will likely represent a zigzagged pattern rather than a straight line. Your path will probably look more like personal bank accounts. Up, down, sometimes way up, and then down, occasionally stable, sometimes empty, sometimes full. Undoubtedly, COVID-19 has been a massive zigzag in your lives. In fact, there are some of you who have chosen to take a gap year before beginning college. There are some who will start your college career online, some on campus and some not. Some might travel, some might work. Certainly, plans and expectations have changed since March, and you have adapted. Because you'll experience unforeseen events like COVID-19 throughout your life's journey, what lessons can we learn from answering the question, how can you capably respond to unexpected situations? Here are 3 answers. First, stay calm. When something unanticipated happens, it is natural to feel anxiety. However, that feeling will go away or become minimized if you are able to transition to thinking about how you can respond. There will be surprises in the future, but taking a deep breath will remind you that you can navigate this change with clarity and confidence. Stay calm. Second, seize the moment. Change is not always bad. In fact, it offers us an opportunity to think differently about our futures. The quicker you are able to objectively assess the unexpected situation and brainstorm various alternative solutions, the more in control you will feel. There is no better feeling. Assuredly, you can't alter events beyond your control, but you can regulate how you react. From my own experience, this is one of the most valuable skills you can practice. Seize the moment. And third, be optimistic. As well-respected psychologist Dr. Janice Villahour writes, many people hope for the best, but plan for the worst. The problem with this strategy is that we act on our expectations, yet our actions create our experiences. If you want a good outcome, you have to plan for one, because that is what leads to the actions that create good experiences. Therefore, plan for a good outcome and adjust as circumstances change. Since March, I imagine out of necessity, many of you have already started practicing these 3 behaviors. In fact, you have the benefit of living through a once-in-a-lifetime crisis and developing these skills long before most adults. Remember, because of COVID, you have a really big head start. Finally, I want to be clear that even though your life's journey will be marked by unpredictable moments, you should still daydream about your future. This is essential and healthy. You need to envision what your path could look like, strive to reach your goals, and celebrate when you accomplish them. Imagining a better future is part of being human and vital for all of us as we look ahead. Yet, don't forget, as Ivan Doig wrote, life is a zigzag journey, they say. Not much straight and easy on the way, but the wrinkles in the map explorers know smooth out like magic at the end of where we go. Now, let's get on with the show. It is my pleasure to introduce Josefina Camacho, Student Body President. Josefina.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm honored to stand in front of all of you today in the senior lot in celebration of our years at York. Before I begin, I would like to take a moment to thank all the people who have made this day possible. From the loved ones who came with their graduates today, to the people tuning into the live stream, to the faculty and staff that took care of all of the complicated logistics, thank you. Now, I'm sure everyone has mixed feelings about having to graduate in this way. I, for one, am grateful to be holding this celebration in spite of this time of uncertainty. After 4 months of isolation, moments like these are the ones that give us back the sense of normalcy we all miss. Because with the whole worldwide pandemic situation, we have all been thrown one of the biggest curveballs in modern history. While some may grieve over the moments we have lost, others may appreciate the time we gained. And yet, regardless of how you may feel, we have all learned an incredible amount about ourselves, even if it's hard to see that right now. It's almost as though in these past 4 months, we have all been thrown into our own allegorical stories with hidden meanings we must interpret for ourselves. With the incredible minimization of our day-to-day activities and interactions, we are all in one way or another forced to spend an uncomfortable amount of time with ourselves. Maybe you picked up a new hobby or improved on an old one. Maybe you started exercising or only went out to walk the dog or, like me, completely lost all of the conditioning from school sports. Maybe you found a job or made important decisions about your future. Or maybe, like most of us, including myself, you were too overwhelmed by the state of the world and the isolation to find the motivation to do anything. All of these possible scenarios, despite what you may think, are equally valid. And they can all teach us equally valuable lessons. You may have learned how important social interaction is for your well-being, how structure correlates to your motivation, who you will keep in contact with as we all go our separate ways, or simply that when things return to normal, you need to step back and take a break more often. And frankly, what better time to learn more about our own needs than right before we enter the world of adulthood? In the future, it will benefit us all to reflect on these experiences in a way that constructively shapes our lives. Of course, I am well aware that this is easier said than done. For the first 2 months of quarantine, I didn't really let myself be sad. It actually wasn't until our senior convoy that much of that emotion hit me. And I had to bite the inside of my cheek the entire way through to ensure I didn't cry. Seeing all of you, all of my classmates in their caps with their cars all decorated, I realized that I never really got to say goodbye. And yet that is another reason why I'm so grateful that I get to stand in front of all of you today. I get to do what I didn't have the chance to do in person. Thank every single one of you for being such wonderful classmates. All of you have been essential to my experience at York. Whether we were close friends, had a couple of classes together, or only ever had a handful of interactions, the experiences that made us, the class of 2020, have bonded us regardless. It's the bond we felt sitting around that campfire at the senior retreat, and the one we feel now, together though apart in our own cars. And it's the bond we will feel when we meet again. I hope that one day, many years in the future, we can all find time to make it back to York, because by then, the unfortunate events of these last months will pale in comparison to hundreds of other memories and experiences that connect us as classmates. So if I leave you with anything, it's this. I challenge you all to take some time and think of at least a couple moments or memories from your years at York that you want to honor during this celebration. For me, a few are my supportive field hockey team, the night of senior winter ball, and of course the campfire at the senior retreat. And really, those memories are what we should be here to celebrate this evening. Because as Mr. Key said, life will always be unpredictable, but today and every day, we can make the best of it. Thank you.
Thank you, Josefina. Excellent job. It is now my honor to introduce our valedictorian who will deliver the valedictory address, Jordan Goodwin.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jordan, and I am so honored to speak at Commencement today. Putting together an event like this during a normal year is no easy task, so thank you to the York faculty for organizing and adapting and readapting your plans so that the class of 2020 can have an in-person commencement ceremony. I spent more time thinking about starting the speech than I actually spent writing it over the 3 months of summer break. Okay, I had a dream that I had to speak at the commencement, but the stand kept being too high, so I guess this is like an in-person reality form of it. That's why I wear heels. So I spent more time thinking about starting this speech than I actually spent writing it. And I think that it's because I kept waiting for this amazing idea to fall from the sky, and I would suddenly have all of this wisdom to impart. I never did have an aha moment, but as I reflected on my time at York and how I've grown and changed, certain ideas did form, and if you don't mind, I would like to share them with you today. Throughout junior year, I wanted so badly to be thought of as the perfect student. I focused so much of my energy on it that it soon felt like I didn't have the option or potential to be anything else. The most or even only remarkable things about me were contained to my high school transcript. I thought that continuously stretching myself to my limits was the only way that I could prove that I was intelligent and hardworking, the only way that I could differentiate myself. At some points, I even aggravated my own stress and anxiety because I thought it was proof that I wanted it more, although I don't really think I knew what it was. I did not yet understand that a want for success without any context is just a want for validation. I convinced myself that if I lessened the pressure that I put on myself, I would lose motivation entirely. So I continued on with this unhealthy mindset. The stress I put myself under caused me to lash out at others. I do not know why I thought that focusing only on grades and academics to such an extreme measure made me a better person when it caused me to be so inconsiderate to those around me. I finished my junior year exhausted, burnt out, and unable to appreciate any of the accomplishments that I thought would make me happy. By the start of senior year, I had enough time to understand that my habits in junior year were unhealthy, but with college admissions starting to ramp up, I still found myself experiencing periods of anxiety and insomnia. My rejection from Columbia in December was what strangely put me on the right path again. I remember being up late that night crying, and I was writing this English essay, but it was just a big mess because I kept tearing up. And my parents came into my room and started comforting me. It was 1 a.m. I'm so sorry for writing an essay at 1 a.m., Mr. Raymond, but it was 1 a.m. and and my parents came into my room and started comforting me, but I apologized for keeping them up and being such a mess. But then my dad looked at me and said, "Don't apologize. Your ups and downs are our ups and downs." I'd focused so much on showing off the highest points of my life and hiding my lows, thinking that is what would make me feel happy and loved. But it was in that moment following my rejection that I remember how loved one can feel when they open up to people at their lowest. That morning when I went to school, I started tearing up or full out sobbing every time someone said something kind to me, which was often because every single person I talked to was compassionate and non-judgmental. As I dragged myself around school that day, I certainly felt pathetic, but I also felt relieved. I planned, worked, obsessed, and I failed. Pretty spectacularly too, I might add, showing up to school unkempt, exhausted, and puffy-eyed. But in the end, it hadn't changed my worth to others like I feared it would. And when I understood that, I was no longer locked into being the person I told myself I had to be. The growth that I made following my rejection was less trackable and controllable than test scores or grades, but I could feel myself becoming more like the kind of person that I wanted to be. I engaged in my classes in a much healthier way because I could fully appreciate the material I was learning. As I began to see my worth as more than just my academic performance, I was able to contribute more as a friend, sister, and daughter. I found myself being kinder and more patient, although patience is still not one of my strong suits. I could appreciate high school for the mixed bag of experiences that it is, rather than just seeing it as a pit stop on the way to somewhere else. I was also just so much happier. The third quarter of my senior year, ended up containing some of my favorite memories of high school. So, I would also like to use this speech to recognize the growth we all go through in high school that may go unnoticed by others, but profoundly changes the way we see ourselves and everything around us. I think that sometimes in high school, I could be so focused on myself that I did not realize what was going on around me. But I want to say now that as your peer, I think that you should all be incredibly proud of yourselves. Whether it was putting in the work for that class that really challenged you, or the effort you put in growing and learning and changing as a person, the obstacles you have faced in high school required determination and perseverance, and I think that you all rose to the occasion. I also want to thank all of you because the growth I've seen in myself could not have happened without you. Thank you for your kindness, your support, and your humor. I am grateful to be in your graduating class. Additionally, I want to thank the talented teachers here at York. I can't articulate just how much I've been impacted by the compassion and dedication to learning each teacher here has demonstrated, but I want to say that this education is not something I've taken for granted. The time and effort you usually put into your work is already astounding, but I want to thank you for all the work you've done to give students the best possible education during this time. Thank you for treating your students with kindness and empathy as we experience these different challenges. Thank you for your patience as you navigate these changing circumstances. And thank you for sacrificing your spring and now summer breaks to adapt your curriculum to online learning. I know that no amount of thanks can make up for the toll that this pandemic has taken on you, but please know that we are all so grateful for you all. If I may, and I know that this is a little self-indulgent, but I would like to end my speech by thanking my family. Throughout all of my ups and downs of high school, you were my figurative North Star guiding me back to the person that I want to be. Throughout my senior year, I looked forward to a commencement where I could celebrate with my whole extended family, but due to COVID, that isn't possible. I would, however, like to acknowledge the family members who are able to be here today. My Aunt Deb. Some of my favorite memories as a kid are baking peach cobbler or chocolate chip cookies with her in the summer. She's been an incredible role model to me growing up, a ridiculously intelligent and driven lawyer who also has impeccable fashion sense. My grandfather, who has been to every grandparents' day here at York. Oh my God. Okay. Stand by, everyone. My grandfather, who has been to every grandparents' day here at York, has offered unwavering support and encouragement and is a steadfast believer in the importance of education. My brother, Zach, I would say that is a miracle that through all of this, we've not only refrained from killing each other, but even grown closer. But I think it is more a testament to the fact that this is a friendship I know I can rely on throughout every stage of my life. Dad, hi. Your moral compass is unfailing. I try my best every day to have even just an ounce of your selflessness. Also, your dad jokes are what got us through quarantine. They're kind of cringy, but in an entertaining way. Last, but certainly not least, my mom. I don't think that I, at 18, can even begin to comprehend the patience, perseverance, and sacrifice it takes to be a mother, but I can thank you for it. As I grew up, you worked relentlessly to ensure that I had every opportunity you could possibly provide. You told me that a difficult part of this pandemic for you has been seeing your kids disappointed as we slowly realize that what we've been looking forward to in the near future will not come to fruition, and having no control to change it. However, no amount of disappointment can take away from the gift it is to feel so unconditionally loved by you. Thank you, everyone, for listening to what I have to say. Again, I am so honored to be given the opportunity to speak today, and to every single one of my classmates, congratulations.
Wow, Jordan. Thank you very much. I know for the last 3 months, I needed that. So thank you. I am thrilled to welcome Michael Barrowman, lovingly known as Mr. B, to deliver the charge to the class.
It is so nice to actually be speaking to you and not to a computer screen. Even though you are hidden behind screens, this is a massive improvement. So this is wonderful. So let me take this off just to confirm I'm really not wearing woad. And or yet anyway. And let me just say, wow. What a few months. What a year. 2020, a year of infamy. A year that you'll be speaking to your grandchildren one day and you'll be saying, you won't believe it. At one point, Starbucks was closed. And they'll go, yeah, right. So anyway, but seriously, well done, everyone. You've made it this far and we're going to get through this. So congratulate yourselves. Take a deep breath. In fact, don't do that. Pat yourselves on the back. Your hand only, social distancing now. And take a good look around. This is a special moment and won't happen again. In October 2019, remember that? 2019. What a golden age that was. And it was at the end of an Asian history class that Francesco came up to me and he goes, Mr. B, he goes, would you speak at graduation? He goes, but I know that you don't actually do that kind of thing. And it's true. I've never spoken at graduation. I never actually attended my own college graduations. But I walked away from that and I felt, you know, it's right that I speak to this class. Now, every class at York has been wonderful. They all have their own qualities. But I feel a slight bias and different bonding to this group because I have found you to be the most kind and supportive group. And I thank you for all of that. Let me give you an example. When you were 10th graders, our beloved athletic director, Steve Peters, had his own medical D-Day that he was dealing with. And I suddenly had to step in and take over your class for the second half of the year. And you were nothing but supportive during that time. Thank you. In fact, some of you have actually taken my class for 4 years. That's more than any students ever in my whole career. And still you asked me to speak. So thank you. I coach field hockey. And when this class were 9th graders, firstly, it's hard rounding up new players as 9th graders because no girls know what field hockey actually is. But it was clear that this very valued program, look at the banners on the gym wall, was going under because there just weren't enough players. And yet, it was this class, those girls, that went round and rounded up players. We had so many players that some games we even had a sub. And so anyway, but thank you for doing that. And they didn't just stop there. Since then, back at York, since then, they've also rounded up new players as they came in. I don't know whether they won them over with enthusiasm or blackmail or press gang, but we've managed to keep going. So thank you. One example of the loyalty of this wonderful class was on the soccer team. There was one player, I'm going to embarrass you here, Soo-Yun, and it was her senior year. She was clearly going to be a dynamic player at right half. Our team was looking good. We had everything except a goalkeeper. Soccer, if you don't have a goalkeeper, don't bother showing up. But Soo-Yun took it on herself to learn to play goal and did a fantastic job. Thank you, Sue Yun. This class isn't just hadn't just been kind to the teachers and everything. They're kind to each other. And some of the things that have really impressed me, well, one, the boys' soccer team. When these players were 9th graders, they were doing what the best soccer players do. They were up on the field playing amongst themselves, and that's where you learn the best skills, doing your own thing. But when they went out there to represent York, oh boy, they were target practice. And every game was, like a cricket score against them. But by their senior year, they've stuck at it. They've encouraged the others, and they came this close to actually winning the league. They were in it all season. The boys' basketball team, they have played with a camaraderie and a joie de vivre, pardon mon français, Monsieur Daniel, and which is absolutely thrilling. So I'm so glad that this wonderful class, which is so kind and supportive, was our wonderful headmaster's first senior class experience at York. You were the perfect class for him, as he's been through a year which, as a British understatement, would say was a year of baptism. Year of baptism by fire, at the very least. So, as someone who really never thought I'd actually speak at graduation, this is actually perfect. It's the wrong time of year, in the wrong part of the school, in the wrong setting. Perfect. So it was in mid-July when Miss Sherry sent me an email and said, have they confirmed that you're going to speak at this? But you are allowed to refuse, because I know you don't do this kind of thing. And I readily agreed. I was prepared, because she used a particular word. I wasn't just to speak to the class, I was to give a charge. Charge. I thought, now we're talking. Get out the woad, the blue paints, let's go berserk. But then a higher part of my brain said, control those Celtic impulses, Mr. B. And I think what she means is actually advice. And I thought, oh, advice. And I thought, that's kind of funny, really, because you want advice from a teacher. And the funny thing about teachers is that we never actually get to leave school. So I'll do my best. So in fact, I hardly get past the 9th grade. So I came up after rattling the old grey matter with 11, big number, different things. And I'll just say them very quickly. The first one is, it really doesn't matter what I say today, because no one will actually remember. And that is so true. What you will take away, though, is a picture of what you see around you, and a feeling of how well loved you are today. So remember that. And as I said to those who were at Indian Canyon as 8th graders, take a moment, celebrate. And that's one thing I advise you to do in life, is that as we've seen, curveballs have been thrown at us, but you are going to have so many achievements, so many successes. Celebrate them. Don't think, oh my God, what have I got to do next? Really relish everything you do. Many years ago, way back in the 1990s, at a time when they didn't have teachers speak, but actually had people who really had left school and could give that kind of advice. We had a parent talking called Mrs. Hemphill, and she said something which I thought was one of the best things I ever heard. And she said, think about the kind of person that you really want to be, and hang out with those kind of people. Make friends with them. If you're an artist, hang out with artists. They will inspire you. If you're a musician, hang out with musicians. As John Lennon once said in an interview, be true to yourself. By being true to yourself, you might not always be popular. You may not have as many friends, but boy, you'll have better ones. If you have a goal and it's to go from A to Z, head straight to Z, or should I say Z. And don't take detours and go all over the place. Otherwise, you'll end up in Fresno and not Paris. One of the great illuminaries of last 50 years was a man called Joseph Campbell. And he said, follow your bliss. And it's not about how much money you make. It's actually finding careers and being involved in things that are just fun. I've actually done that. I teach and it never feels like work. It's just fun. I coach and it feels like fun. Faculty meetings, well, that's a bit different. I would like to, at this point, give you the meaning of life, but I'm afraid I don't actually know what it is. But the best meaning of life I've ever heard is give life meaning. Have purpose and put your own stamp and take your own charge. Stay cool, as was said earlier. This is a crazy time. People lose their heads at certain moments. I confess, I did on Saturday. I was so bombarded by the negativity at a history conference, I just couldn't take it anymore. But then you have to recenter yourself. And the more of us that are centered, the more of us that can find our way back and be calm. Be patient. Everything in history passes. COVID-19, there will be a vaccination. I don't think it will be detergent, but there will be one. But it will end. World War II ended. The Spanish flu ended. Even the British Empire has gone. So don't worry about it. It will end. And even if you're starting off with online courses, you will eventually physically get to your college. As a historian, I implore you to remember your origins and remember York. You've spent a big chunk of your life here. And stay in touch with us. And over time, you'll think more and more fondly of us. Time does that. And I can tell you, we already think so fondly of you. And then my last piece of advice is kind of a tradition at these things. Mr. Murray, who used to teach English here, he didn't know how to say, I don't do that sort of thing. And he ended up standing here about 4 times in 6 years. And he would always finish with this: read and floss your teeth every day. I meant to ask him whether he meant at the same time. Perhaps you can let me know. So this, that's my charge to you. But I also want to take just a moment to say that this class have taught me so much too. The field hockey team have taught me that camaraderie is so much more important than getting results or even a goal or into the other half. And I want to thank, and I'm going to embarrass her, Josefina. I've worked with Josefina for 4 years in field hockey and soccer. And she has been the most outstanding captain I've ever known. Kate and I used to say, it's like having a 35-year-old with us. And she always said the right thing. And I thank her for making us more supportive and encouraging human beings. Thank you. I've learned other things too. I learned some physics, also on the field hockey team. I won't mention this girl's name, but it was about 105. We were all dying out there when suddenly shade appeared, and we were like, "Oh, thank God!" And we looked up, and suddenly an unexpected solar eclipse was happening. The reason why was that this player had suddenly launched a hockey stick way up into clouds. And then we realized, oh no, what goes up must come down. And we all ran for cover, but there wasn't any. But It was our lucky day. Another thing I've learned from this class, and this is from Jordan, and that is the importance of being prepared. Jordan is the most prepared person I've ever met. She has this little bag which she brings to games, or brought to games, and it's got to be like Doctor Who's TARDIS inside of it, because whatever you need, it's there. Band-aids, ice packs, scissors, car transmissions, everything is in there. In fact, maybe I'll ask her, maybe the meaning of life is actually there. So anyway, this summer, we wrote a book called The Checklist. And in that, I kept on thinking about two students from this class. And this is the scenario. And the message is, check before you go far away to see something. They, on a Tuesday night, yes, a school night, disappeared up to San Francisco to go to a rap concert. And they got all the way there. And when they did, they thought, oh, it's surprisingly quiet. And there was a little message saying concert cancelled. Now, if they'd looked online, they could have found this out, but they didn't. And the other important thing is, learn from this, because they did exactly the same thing again the next week. They went up on a Tuesday night, same artist, same message. Amazing. Finally, at the conference I was at, there was a lot of debate about artificial intelligence. How will humanity cope? Will we lose out? And I've learned from this class that humanity will prevail, no matter what. Why? Because no computer can keep up with the speed that Tom Lou thinks. Talking of Tom, I'd like to take a moment here to acknowledge and thank all of our Chinese students who have come to York. Those who've already graduated, those who are graduating now, those who are at York now, those who are coming to York, and those who will come. You've come a long way from home. I have too. And so I know to an extent what's that like, except for me, the natives can almost speak my language. But thank you. Thank you for bringing your perspective, the wealth of your culture. And at York, you are so honored, appreciated, and loved. So now it's almost time to say goodbye and for you to get your diplomas. Senor Soto has already disappeared over the hill into the sunset, mushroom hunting. But as Mr. Sturch, who has been the most influential teacher in York's history, whose influence is in every part of the school, always used to say, it's not an ending, it's just a new beginning. It's a new chapter. And so now I wish you all the best as you go your own separate ways. Even Jordan and Juvie will now go their separate ways. I can see a glare there. So, congratulations to this wonderful class of this or that year. Be all you can be. Live long and prosper. Journey well. Namaste. Thank you.
And it's diploma time. So if we could start with Cheyenne and Sophie coming forward, and then graduates, if you would anticipate, exit your cars as I read the senior script of the graduate before you. Remember, will not shake hands, but you may certainly elbow bump if you choose. As the graduates come forward to receive their diplomas, I'll be reading reflections written by them, their family, or friends. Due to the pandemic, some students are not able to be with us today, but they're watching with their families via the live stream, and I will read their senior scripts in celebration of their achievement. Cheyenne Avina. Cheyenne writes, "You know, it still feels like freshman year walking down the hallways for the first time, learning alongside other students and making memories with wonderful teachers and staff. However, that was 4 years ago, and now I walk with fellow seniors onto the next stage of our lives." Or I don't. Sophie Madison Barth. Sophie's mom writes, "Sophie is woke. She's a citizen of the world and stands up for change. She's participated in political rallies, LGBTQ rights parades, pride parades, Me Too movement parades, women's rights parades, and most recently, several Black Lives Matter protests. She's empathetic, smart, sassy, funny, loyal, clever, and beautiful. I am so proud of her today and every day. Happy graduation, Monkey." Jupiter Barry Smith. Jupiter's diploma is presented by his mother, York faculty member Jennifer Barry. In his poem, To All Appearances, Carl Phillips writes, "As I said, we did swim. We swam until it no longer looked like swimming, but instead more like trying to rescue whatever inside ourselves had mattered once from ourselves by moving farther away from it." Nora Butler. "Lorem ipsum dolor sit amet consectator adipisking elit."
Oh, math. Thank you.
Josefina Mary Amparo Camacho. The shy girl with a pixie cut who walked into school 4 years ago is a completely different person than the one walking across this parking lot today. Everyone I have met at York has helped me transform for the better. From the bottom of my heart, thank you. Stuart Alexander Carruthers. As John F. Kennedy said, "We enjoy the comfort of opinion without the discomfort of thought." Hayden Concepcion Deo. Hayden has always been a creative, compassionate, and wise soul. As she reaches this milestone, her gifts have been nurtured by her family, friends, and school mentors. As you enter this new chapter in your life, Hayden, remember to keep your eyes on the stars and your feet on the ground. Matthew DaCosta. I have no idea how I made it here, but this diploma is proof that God works in mysterious ways. Thank you to my family for their support, and to my friends, you owe me a lot of gas money. God bless all of you. Henriette Violet Rose Juve. If Henriette's name were a verb, it would mean to be thoughtful to an extreme, to be diligent to a strict ethic, to be deeply devoted to relationships, to be insightful with kindness and objectivity. A haiku for Henriette, authentic with word, shining truth bomb, beauty, and humility. Caden Elowendi. Accept the things to which fate binds you and love the people with whom fate brings you together, but do so with all your heart. Marcus Aurelius. Vivian Fay. Vivian is unable to be with us today. She writes, "These past 4 years have been a marvelous journey, not without tears or hardship, but no regret. Maybe one day I will think back on this year as a preposterous dream, but among all the disaster and chaos, I will remember it as a year I grew and matured into adulthood." Yulisa Flores Ibanez. Yulisa is a strong, passionate woman who, just like Frida Kahlo, believes that mujer bella es la que lucha. She thanks her parents for their unconditional love and support, as well as reminds them that cuando me vean volar, recuerden que ustedes me pintaron mis alas. Juan Isaac Galarza. Thank you for the great memories and incredible opportunities this school has provided me in the last 4 years. I'm grateful for the passionate teachers who helped me achieve my academic goals throughout high school and for the great friends with whom I have created long-lasting memories. Here's to the class of 2020. Matthew Robert Galloway. Try not to become a man of success. Rather, become a man of value. Albert Einstein. Congratulations, Matthew. We are so proud of you and can't wait to see what your future holds. Edwin Gao. High school and life in general can be rough. You will undoubtedly struggle at times. However, there's no shame in struggling. Your future isn't determined by how hard you can hit, but by how hard you can get hit and keep going. Fletcher McGuire Gaucher. I'd like to thank my mom, my dad, and the rest of my family, Google, Grammarly, and the creator of SparkNotes. I certainly couldn't have made it without them. Jordan Olivia Goodwin. According to Jordan's preschool report card, she had a tendency to try to negotiate her way into and out of things. Ask any of her high school teachers, and they'll probably say that she hasn't changed. Jared Patrick Griffith. I strive to lead a life full of experiences and lasting memories. My time at York definitely met the criteria for Jared's lifelong journey book. Now I must take on the next challenge, the daunting life of a college student. Regardless of where I go, I will always be connected to this place and the people that helped me grow. Thomas Michael Hall. Mark Twain has been credited with saying, 20 years from now, you will be more disappointed by the things you didn't do than by the things you did. You now get to do what you truly want to do. Trust that you will make good choices. If you make a few poor choices along the way, know that everyone else will also. Just don't get caught. Ricky Joshi. Ricky is unable to attend, but shares, if you want to be great at something, there's a choice you have to make. What I mean by that is there are inherent sacrifices that come along with that. family time, hanging out with friends, being a great friend, being a great son, nephew, whatever the case may be. Rest in peace, Kobe Bryant. Irea Valerie Virginia Johnson. Chookie, we knew from the minute you were born, you were going to be that of greatness. Woohoo! Suyun Kim. To my parents, thank you for making the difficult choice of leaving your home behind to provide a better future for me. To my teachers, thank you for pushing me to be the best possible student and person. And to my friends, thank you for being my unpaid therapist for these past 4 years. Oh, and for driving me around everywhere. Madison Young Me Kimball. Big thank you to Mom and Dad for being my sole providers. Thank you for supporting me in everything I do and dealing with all of my craziness these past 17 years. It means the world to me. Yay. Alexander Everett Lynn. I'd just like to give thanks to my family, teachers, and everybody that helped me get to where I am today. And to my fellow seniors, you are all talented and unique people. I wish you all good luck in your college lives and beyond. Cha-Cheng Liu. Cha-Cheng is unable to be with us today, but wanted us to know that Mr. Brady's least favorite line of the Aeneid reads, Heu, miserande puer, si qua fata aspera rumpas, tumar caelus eris. I beg to differ. That's how high school years should be spent. Mateo Anthony Lawrence. I never smile if I can help it. Showing one's teeth is a submission signal in primates. When someone smiles at me, all I see is a chimpanzee begging for its life. Dwight K. Schrute. Toby Stephen Malone. Rene Descartes once said, I think, therefore I am. Well, someone who wholeheartedly embodies that saying in both spirit and pretentiousness is none other than the graduate Toby Stephen Malone. Nice. Yay. Albert Christian Mattei. By Leonardo da Vinci. Although nature commences with reason and ends in experience, it is necessary for us to do the opposite. That is, commence with experience, and from this to proceed to investigate the reason. York is my experience, my research method, my reason. Nathan Wynn. Music isn't something you can take away from me. It's just the best thing. Congratulations, Nathan. Annabelle Norman. Annabelle's diploma is being presented by her mother, York staff member Vicki Norman. Every morning, we are born again. What we do today is what matters most. Buddha. Oh. Alexa Roberson Ortiz. In the words of the primatologist Jane Goodall, you cannot get through a single day without leaving an impact on the world around you. What you do makes a difference, and you have to decide what kind of difference you want to make. So take advice from Gandhi and be the change you want to see in the world. Luke Samuel Rosenblum. With Abraham Maslow, Luke believes one can choose to go back toward safety or forward toward growth. If we don't change, we don't grow. If we don't grow, we aren't really living. Sophia Rose Kalena Saniko. Sophia's friend Zib writes, when I think of Sophia, I remember laughing during soccer as she was unleashed on the other team's offense, watching Game of Thrones deep into the ungodly hours of the night, and most of all, of her undying support, both in the water and on land. She's an awesome person, and more than that, a friend. Michael Antonio Scolas. Michael's parents urged him to write something meaningful for his senior script. He contemplated writing about how much he loves them and how he appreciates all that they've done for him. Then he decided not to because they already know that. Rohan Kumar Sethi. Rohan, the literal translation of your name means ascending. This is what we wish for you, that you continue to grow and climb towards your goals and dreams. Your work ethic will take you far. Continue to strive in everything you do. Remember to take time to play, and as any one of your favorite basketball idols will tell you, when in doubt, take the shot. Luke Hao Song. Lao Tzu once said, do the difficult things while they are easy, and do the great things while they are small. A journey of 1,000 miles must begin with a single step. Luke, congratulations on this feat. Your journey is only just beginning. Accomplish your dreams one step at a time. Francesco Spadaro. Francesco cites Walt Disney. Around here, we don't look backwards for very long. We keep moving forward, opening up new doors and doing new things because we're curious, and curiosity keeps leading us down new paths. Vian Malaya Genevieve Stores. Vian is unable to attend today's ceremony, but tells us, as Cicero writes, non nobis solum nati sumus. Daisy Claire Shinchu Swanson. To play a wrong note is insignificant. To play without passion is inexcusable. Ludwig van Beethoven. Yay, Daisy. Anushka Veliko-Shapko. Society has been great and all, but if any of you want to reach me after graduation, I will be living in a woodland cabin a la Walden. Goodbye. I love you all. Justin Coy Vu. You made it! The last Vu sibling has graduated high school. We are so proud of the young man you've become. Your fixation on perfecting your craft has brought you to new heights, and we know this is just the beginning. Reach for the stars. We love you, Dad, Mom, Jonathan, and Michelle. Samuel Alexander Wisner. Be kind, for everyone you meet is fighting a hard battle. Stone Yang. Stone can't be here today, but in his honor, Mamma mia, mamma mia, mamma mia, let me go. Owen Yi Nong Yu. Owen is also unable to attend today, but says, throughout high school, I learned not to expend more effort than I needed to. Jonathan Jun Zhao. I am ready to face any challenge that may be foolish enough to face me. Yinan Zhou. Yinan could not be here today, but shares, as Andy Bernard once said, I wish there was a way to know you're in the good old days before you've actually left them. Guanja Zhu. Guanja is also not able to attend today, but leaves us with this thought. Life is my college. May I graduate well and earn some honors. Congratulations.
It is my pleasure to introduce Luke Rosenblum, class of 2020 president for the class of 2020 farewell.
It is bright. Life is not measured in the number of breaths we take, but in the number of moments that take our breath away. Today, I stand before you at one of those moments, where one chapter must end for another to begin. It's hard to say goodbye to a community that has been such a grounding force in our journeys, but loss is a necessary obstacle in the greater scheme of life. It is a catalyst for growth for both ourselves and those around us. We have ended one decade to begin a new era of defining challenges threatening the ordinary lives of us all. But I know that this class is more than capable of handling this with ease. I have learned so much from my classmates, and I hope they have learned a fair share from me. At this turning point for us, I would like to take the time to share a couple of memories that I will be bringing with me onto my written chapter. Firstly, our class had an ambition and determination like no other. We completely dominated every sport we played at York. We had one of the best basketball seasons, which I was lucky to be a part of, in which the majority of the team consisted of the one and only class of 2020. I will never forget those long drives coming back from the away games that went until 11 or 12 at night, or stopping at the buffet and sharing a laugh or two over our food. But it didn't stop there. Whether it was soccer, water polo, tennis, volleyball, or literally anything we played, we always showed out. And this showed through our class spirit. Our class points were always consistently high, and we won countless competitions as a team. It has truly been a blessing to be your president for the last 2 years. And on an academic level, I'm going to miss learning alongside my peers. I would not have been as successful as I am without their drive and constant motivation, keeping me on the right track. Well, besides the back table in my physics class. But I know what we shared at York will show us what a healthy community looks like and what we will strive for in our future endeavors. Please, allow me to leave you with some words of wisdom. I came across a poem by Dale Wimbrough a while back, and the last lines are still meaningful to me today. It goes, "You may fool the whole world down the pathway of life and get pats on the back as pass, but your final reward will be heartaches and tears if you cheated the man in the glass." And every once in a while, I return to this. Whether it's a cause that no one else believes in but you, or a new style you're trying to pull off, or some crazy goal that sounds unrealistic, but deep inside you won't feel at rest until you achieve it, then I want you to go for it. Don't settle for an okay life, because I know everyone in this class has the potential to change the world. Listen to your inner voice and be authentic and true to yourself. While the future seems bleak and uncertain for many, it is my hope that we can be the new leaders to combat these challenges the world faces today. We are in this together, and together we will change the world. I stand with you, class of 2020, and let's make a difference. On behalf of the class of 2020, I would like to thank our faculty, parents, coaches, and everyone at York for an amazing 4 years. Thank you.
Seniors, congratulations. But I have one more short message and then a final ceremonial task for you to perform. You are now part of an impressive history of 45 York School graduating classes who have become successful professionals and contributing members of their communities. Like them, you will make a mark in the world, I'm sure of it. The final message, however, I want to send to you is this. We want you to know that you will always have a home on this campus. You are more than alums. You arrived as kids and now leave as adults, and you will always be part of the family. This might not resonate with you as much as it does for the adults in your lives. Your families and faculty have watched you succeed and sometimes fail and develop into impressive young people. There is no more satisfying moment for us than to watch your transformation. Of course, we are proud of your intellectual, artistic, and athletic achievements. You are accomplished, there is no doubt. But what matters the most is the type of human beings you have become. I have only known you for a year, but I'm honored to share my first York commencement with you, even if it's in a parking lot. And I wanted to tell you, seniors, in my welcome or in this closing, I didn't say community once. To close the ceremony, I have one last task for you. Obviously, we didn't get to practice any of this, so here are a few simple instructions. While sitting in your car, put on your mortar board. You might not have known that's what that's called, your mortar board. Then place the tassel on the right of your mortar board. Now, after I say graduating class of 2020, not yet, you will roll down your window so you can wave your cap. In a minute, we will do this. Unfortunately, we can't throw all our caps as is traditional. In fact, please hold on to your hat and only wave. Hold and wave. At the same time, after I finish saying graduating class of 2020, in a few moments, all drivers, please honk your horns in celebration. Okay, here we go. Seniors, to confirm your status as graduates, please take your tassel from the right of your mortar board and place it on your left. Ladies and gentlemen, I present you with York School's graduating class of 2020. My final thoughts. Good luck. We will miss you. Drive carefully. Thank you so much for attending, and we can't wait to see you in person again. Thank you very much. Good job, team. Well done, Doug.
Are we giving out the extra